My name's Akroyd. This is Hanks. Read him the rights.
You have the right to join us right here on this station.
Right here for Just the Facts.
Monday night at 9 on KPTV 12.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to see is true. The show was Dragnet, and you're in the custody of Dan Akroyd and Tom Hanks for a look back at the way it was in Jack Webb's day and the way it is now.
All right, book him. A lot of suspects cracked and confessed on a police headquarters set like this. A lot of crimes got solved and husbands were returned to their wives and dogs to their rightful owners. 902s, 605s, 4012-3.SJ, 5A forms.
L1011s, BMW 320is, I could have had a V8. I don't know. I can't get through all this stuff. Let's just take it away, huh?
Tom, this is your research. You have to read every one of these pieces of paper. Like I said, a lot of cases got solved on a set like this. And a lot of people stayed awake nights watching it all go down on millions of television sets. They called the show Dragnet. And tonight, we reopen the file.
Join Dan and Tom for a look at the old Dragnet. The inside stories, the classic moments, the unmistakable style, the future stars who did their time. And then go behind the scenes of a brand new Dragnet movie. A labor of love by a cast and crew of devoted lifetime Dragnet fans who combined their comedic talents to pick up where Sergeant Joe Friday left off.
That's where I come in. I carry a badge. We're talking about an hour's worth of tribute to a TV classic here.
We're talking about 60 minutes of non-stop cop nostalgia.
We're talking about the fun and excitement of being behind the scenes of an all-new Dragnet adventure for the action 80s.
Dan?
Yeah, Tom.
What else are we talking about?
Well, the most important thing of all, Tom, just like Sergeant Joe Friday before us, we're talking just the facts.
Just the Facts is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered draft beer. It's as real as it gets.
It's real. I know it's real.
There was a time when there was only one kind of beer. Rich, smooth draft beer. It wasn't pasteurized or tampered with. It was just real beer. Miller Genuine Draft is as real as that. It's not heat pasteurized like most other beers. It's cold filtered, so it's as rich and smooth as only real draft beer can be. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
Which dog has a flea collar? They all do. But only the middle dog has the new Scratch X 11-month flea collar from Sulfadine. With twice the flea-killing power, so it keeps working long after these others quit. The Scratch X flea killer is government approved to work 11 months, not 5 months like Hearts and Sergeants. Scratch X kills ticks too, yet it's safe for a 3-month-old puppy. For cats, there's a Scratch X collar too.
My father is the greatest person I know.
If you had a race with my father, he'd always let you win at the end.
I love my pop very much.
He still calls me up and says, "How's my boy?"
When I grow up, I want to be like my dad.
When was the last time you took a picture of your dad?
To bake baked beans this savory, rich, and delicious, you would sort them and soak them, measure in the mustard, slice the bacon, pack the brown sugar, approve the seasonings. Then bake them in a real brick oven until the sun went down. If you had the time, you could bake beans like this, or you could buy B&M baked beans. There's really no other choice.
It was
Monday, May 21st. It was cloudy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitives Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. While we were having lunch, a button fell off my jacket. I borrowed a needle and thread from one of the girls in the office. Now I had one more thing to do. Sew it on.
Dragnet, the best-known TV cop show of all time. How did it happen? Who was responsible? The evidence speaks for itself. Tommy, hit it. This was the city, Los Angeles, California. It was June 1949, and American radio listeners were fed up with overblown but underbelievable crime shows like Gangbusters, Mr. and Mrs. North, and Sam Spade, Private Eye. And then it happened.
NBC brings you Dragnet.
At 20 minutes to 7, Ben and I had a hamburger and a cup of coffee in the drugstore at East Broadway and 3rd.
Dragnet didn't sound like a radio cop opera. It sounded real. No cheap dramatics, just plug ugly everyday police work. With a new style as lean and hungry as the 29-year-old former disc jockey who played Sergeant Joe Friday. His name was Jack Webb.
Hey, fella. Come here.
The roots of Dragnet went back to 1948 and a mean street little movie called He Walked by Night.
I've got to see some identification.
How about my army discharge? I got it right here.
Webb was an up-and-coming unknown in the movie, playing the small but important role of a Los Angeles Police Department crime lab technician.
Now, if you'll hand me that hammer, Marty.
A guy who got a bang out of his job with the LAPD.
Yeah. Nitroglycerin.
He Walked by Night was filled with the hard truth about police life, and Webb fell in love with it. On his own, he rode patrol with LAPD officers, soaking up stories, learning the ropes. And when a detective friend complained that radio cop shows were too phony, Webb agreed and decided then and there to do a real one of his own. And 12 months later, Dragnet debuted as a lowly summer replacement. 12 months after that, it was the hottest half hour on radio, and Jack Webb the hottest star. Jack Randolph Webb had come a long way from the Depression days. A sickly, fatherless little boy raised on relief in L.A. Brains and hard work won him top honors at Belmont High. And though he dabbled in dramatics to overcome shyness, his real dream was to be an artist and work for his idol, Walt Disney. Little did he know that one day he and Uncle Walt would both be hailed as geniuses in a brand new American art form, something called television. It was 1951, and America wasn't just sweet on singer Rosemary Clooney. It was in love with the magic box that she came in. We'd finally gotten a window to the world. Stock cars were hot, Korea was cold, the Yankees took the series, and then there was the bomb.
It's about time for that car, ain't it?
On December 16th, 1951, Joe Friday wrestled with a bomb threat of his own. 16 sticks of high-grade dynamite, to be exact. Out the door and into the nearest water bucket. Dragnet was finally off and running on TV. Radio's #1 detective sergeant got a face to match his voice and a premiere episode about a plot to blow up City Hall. By the time Friday hit the street, Dragnet's network destiny was sealed, plunging head over heels into instant success. Dragnet's ratings sizzled. Overnight, Jack Webb emerged as TV's first star to ever create, write, direct, and produce his own hit series, backed up on screen by other fast-rising newcomers like Raymond Burr.
Scared, Friday?
Yeah.
That makes it even. Come on.
Scared or not, Joe Friday made hard-nosed TV history.
On your feet, fella.
Get your hands off me!
Stand still.
You don't hear too good, do you? You start messing around with me and you'll find out what's good. You'll find out real good. I'll give you the same thing I gave to her. That's right, the same thing.
All right, mister, who you talking about?
Ada Fitzgerald, that's who. Ada Fitzgerald. I'm a pretty rough fella, you know, pretty rough.
Is that right?
You betcha. You're not dealing with a kid, you know.
Well, that makes it even then, doesn't it?
What?
You're not dealing with a woman.
Dragnet played rough for the competition, too, in a fight for first. hammering out more permanent impressions on American pop culture than any show before or since. The badge, the hat, the grim, great documentary style, the endless close-ups of endless faces doing endless lines of ping-pong dialogue. A trivia lover's bonanza of cop talk and camp.
Take a look at this. Maybe you've seen the two men described here. What do you think?
What was that?
I said, what do you think? Have you seen them?
I don't know.
How do you mean?
I'm not sure yet.
What?
I'm not sure. May have seen one of them.
How about the other one?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other one.
But you do remember seeing one of them.
I might have seen both of them.
But you're not sure.
I don't know.
How about a cigarette?
Another Dragnet trademark in the early days was a non-stop nicotine fit. And for good reason, too.
Back in the golden age of television, they still had advertising for cigarettes. And one of Jack Webb's sponsors for the show was Chesterfield. So if you go back and watch the shows, there are a lot of smoke-filled rooms. And in fact, if you look at all the characters, they're all smoking cigarettes. You know, television is a business, and this is how they earn their money. And Jack Webb was very happy to have his character smoking.
How about that cigarette now, huh?
Thanks.
Smoking was Joe Friday's only vice. Otherwise, he was 6 feet, 165 pounds of straight-shooting, clean-living, incorruptible cop who came down hard on slime, but was kind to his gray-haired mother. Yes, it's true, Sergeant Friday lived at home with Mom.
Joseph, that you?
Yeah, Ma, it's me.
Have you had your dinner?
No, I'm not hungry, Ma.
Well, you have to eat. I'll fix you something.
No, I'm kind of tired, Ma.
Off-screen, Webb had deliberately created Joe Friday to be every cop. A man with no past, no private life, no religion, no politics, no wife and kids, just a job. And to look at him, he passed for anything but a police detective.
Finally through, huh?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry if we kept you waiting.
They ought to do something about people like you.
Ma'am?
Staying in there with that young girl playing phonograph records, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to tell you something. You're old enough to be that girl's father.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not through talking to you yet. You look like a fairly intelligent person. Don't you think the police ought to be notified about a thing like this?
Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right.
Well, I think so, too, and I'm going to notify them.
You just did.
Dragnet's success made Webb and Friday household words, linked together everywhere, from the cover of Time to the Jack Benny Show. Webb ran a two-man stakeout on the mass media.
You're worth, with your talent, you're worth every cent of the $5,000 that I'm paying you, you know.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, as long as you're here, let's not keep the audience waiting. The stage is yours. Spotlight, music, Malin, please. Jack, come back here. Hold it, Malin. What? What's the trouble?
Look, Jack, I don't understand. What's the spotlight on the music for?
Well, that's for your song.
For my song. I don't sing.
Well, what instrument do you play?
I don't play any instrument.
You don't play any instrument and you don't sing?
And I don't dance.
Well, but you're taking $5,000.
Yes.
He's not a cop, he's a crook.
In a moment, partners from the past, police secrets revealed, and an old pro, Harry Morgan.
According to science, Bigfoot doesn't exist. Try telling that to the Hendersons.
It's a major discovery. We have to take it home. Oh.
It's eating my 15th birthday corsage.
Sit. Harry and the Hendersons.
So, how you doing?
Rated PG, now playing at theaters everywhere.
I admire strength, so I shop at Silo. They've got buying clout. Silo's buyers are tough to negotiate. Like Bernie here. He gets the best prices from his suppliers, so I get the best prices from him.
Silo has over 120 stores with prices and selection that beat all the lightweights. And right now, during our end-of-summer clearance sale, prices are lower than ever on audio, video, and appliances.
We deliver.
I got it.
There's no sale like a Silo sale.
I'm an apple lover. Sunny apple lover. Sunny apple lover.
You love the Big Apple taste of Riunite Sunny Apple. The taste of fresh apples and natural Riunite, not a watered-down cooler.
Sunny apple lover. Riunite sunny apple lover.
Try peach and raspberry, too.
Those of you who like designer labels will be pleased to know that the new Hyundai Excel gets its style from the same man who designed Ferraris. Also attractive is the fact that the Excel is very reliable, has front-wheel drive, and room for 5. And wait till you see how affordable it is. The Hyundai Excel. It comes with a designer label, but it saves you enough money for a whole closet full of designer suits. Hyundai. Cars that make sense.
You know, it's interesting checking out the Dragnet personnel file here. Once Jack Webb promoted Joe Friday from sergeant to lieutenant, but then demoted him back again because lieutenant's police work was not basic enough for Sergeant Joe Friday.
Nope, Friday never moved up the ladder, but then he never got laid off either, which is more than we can say for his partners over the years. I mean, come on. The guy went through 5 of them.
The first was Sergeant Ben Romero, played by Barton Yarbrough. He'd been Webb's sidekick since the radio days of Dragnet. Sadly, he never shared in the success of the TV version. He died shortly after the first episode aired. It was a personal loss for Jack Webb, who shed tears on Dragnet this one time only.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You were with him a long time.
11 years. The day I came on the job, they assigned me as his partner. It's a tough one. It's hard to believe.
In 1952, Sergeant Ed Jacobs signed on for partner duty in the person of Barney Phillips. Next came another radio Dragnet regular, Herb Ellis, as Officer Frank Smith. And then Officer Frank Smith II, Ben Alexander. He partnered the longest with Joe Friday, 6 years, 53 to 59. Alexander was a former silent movie kid star. And one of Webb's best friends, an easygoing, likable man off screen, he added a warm and human touch to the show. That opened the door to balancing off Friday's stick-in-the-mud personality.
Well, what are you doing, fella? What's it look like?
Now, Joe, don't bite my head off.
I'm sewing on a button.
Maybe. Won't hold that way.
Yeah.
All right. Don't take my advice. Most guys don't have to sew their own buttons on.
Yeah, I know. If I was married.
It's the truth, Joe.
In 1959, Webb unexpectedly pulled Dragnet from first-run TV. He itched to do other projects. He landed on a top job at Warner Brothers as head of TV production. And his own company, Mark 7, produced a stable of network hit series. 5 on the air, 1 season alone. Among them, in '67, Dragnet, backed by popular demand, all new in color. With one last partner for Friday to break in, Officer Bill Gannon, a.k.a. Harry Morgan.
This is a good report. In fact, it's excellent. I'm sure the captain will think so, too.
Just my usual good work, Joe.
You bet. And I'm real fortunate to have you working with me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You are fortunate.
Jack and I had been friends for probably 15 years anyway. I was one of the very few people in the community who could have gone into that part and enjoyed doing it because, Jack was a real taskmaster, but he didn't pull very much of that on me.
Harry Morgan's best known today for MASH, but his knockout career began way back on Broadway in the 40s in Golden Boy. Some 50 movies and a half a dozen TV series later, he landed big on Dragnet.
Hiya, Joe.
Hi.
Picked us up a Christmas tree.
You sure did.
Well, we don't have any decorations here, but it sure brightens the place up. I hope it stays quiet. I got more shopping to do after we get off.
I finished mine.
Where'd you get your girlfriend?
Stationery set, some paper, envelopes, leather binding.
Joe, you'll never learn.
Oh, what's the matter?
No woman wants a stationery set. You get her something personal.
Well, it's got her initials on it.
No. You want something more sentimental, romantic.
What'd you get Eileen?
Well, it's different in her case.
What'd you get your wife?
A sewing machine.
That's romantic.
All the time we were working on Dragnet, we used teleprompters. We read all our stuff. had to learn maybe a few words for a big master shot to get into it, but then it was boom, boom, close up and teleprompter.
Working for Jack Webb meant do it fast and don't spend money. Each show got shot in just 2 days.
Jack, first of all, either he wrote the story himself or he rewrote it or he half wrote it so that he knew every word of dialogue in it. He just was so familiar with every aspect of how he wanted to do his show. And of course, he tended to be all business on the set. Otherwise, we never could have done him in 2 days.
He would stand behind the editor with a grease pencil and be tapping him on the head, saying, no, faster, faster, no, cut, closer, closer, get the dialogue closer, closer. Or he'd say, no, dummy, no, dummy.
5:55 p.m., a supplementary broadcast and an all-points bulletin were gotten out immediately on the 2 escaped convicts.
Dragnet was the model for all other cop shows to follow. Nitty-gritty authenticity served up each week on a thick slice of life. Webb demanded that every procedure and prop exactly match the real thing, right down to the brand name of police ammunition and the numbers of headquarters telephones.
He's doing a close-up shot where he's on the telephone. And he's like this, and the camera's close in on him, and he looks down and he throws the phone down and says, "You got the wrong extension number." Now, who would know the difference? Mr. Webb would know the difference.
Let's check underneath.
Dragnet taught us civilians how to spot a stolen car. We learned that if they ran our names through something called R&I, or if they put out an APB on us, we were in big trouble for sure. They could come and get us code 3 for field booking on an ADW, or worse.
All right, Taylor, we'll warn you. We found a fingerprint and blood on the light bulb in the bathroom.
It's not mine. I didn't do it.
And if your prints don't match up, you're ahead of the game.
Never before Dragnet
Now you're indexed.
was there a series that portrayed the police officer as a professional, as a educated, smart, hard-working, human professional. Never before.
All Dragnet cases were true, submitted directly by the actual LAPD officers involved in them. And stories just didn't dwell on hard crime either. There was heartbreak, like the accidental death of a little boy killed while playing with a Christmas rifle.
Where's my gun? Steven's still be alive. I didn't go get it. Should have waited till Christmas. It's all my fault.
Where have you been all this time?
Right here. Steve,
What were you doing, son?
I was praying. I was praying for God to make you alive again.
Dragnet was fiercely outspoken in support of law enforcement and had made Webb a friend of police chiefs everywhere. He personally gave the LAPD Academy hundreds of thousands of dollars to build new facilities and then went out and recruited new cadets to fill them. His police honors numbered in the hundreds. He was the best PR man American law and order ever had.
I don't want to call him a do-gooder or a flag waver or lover of mom's apple pie and all that, but he was. He wanted the public to see what was good and what was right about life and what was bad about it and how a law enforcement agency, particularly the LA Police Department, would handle those kinds of things. And he was just as loyal to this department, and don't you dare ever say anything against LA Police Department. He would really rebel about that.
You're a cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news. They call you everything, but never a policeman.
Jack always referred to one portion of the script where he had to, almost like he's preaching to you, and he called it his Jesus speech, because he was trying to not only entertain, but he's trying to get a message across. He's trying to educate the public as well.
Oh, the pay's adequate. If you count your pennies, you can put your kid through college. But you better plan on seeing Europe on your television set. And paperwork? You fill out a report when you're right. You'll fill out a report when you're wrong. You'll fill one out when you're not sure. You'll fill one out listing your leads. You'll fill one out when you have no leads. You'll make out a report on the reports you've made. But there's also this. There are over 5,000 men in this city who know that being a policeman is an endless, glamorous, thankless job that's got to be done. I know it too, and I'm damn glad to be one of them.
Coming up next, the small screen Dragnet goes big screen. A look at the very first Dragnet feature movie, and then the very latest one, out front and behind the scenes too. So don't you dare go away.
Beautiful. Yeah, good shot.
VO5 hairspray is great for my hair. It doesn't leave it dry. It truly improves my hair's looks, doesn't dull or damage. And the more I use it, the better my hair looks. Patented VO5, great for your hair.
Can Jane Stevens, armed only with Real Kill, compete with a professional exterminator? Real Kill sprays the same stuff most pros use. That's why it kills up to 99% of even hidden bugs. Just like a pro. Real Kill, the same stuff the pros use.
It's real. I know it's real. No other reason for the way I feel. Oh yeah, it's as real as it gets. It feels good, so right.
The best things are the real things, and draft beer is the real beer. Miller Genuine Draft.
Oh yeah, it's as real as it gets.
Right now, these women's casual boots from Volume, in all the latest styles and colors, are just $19.99. Get them while they're hot. Volume Shoe Source. You could pay more, but why? These fashion statements are brought to you by Volume, where you can find all the latest styles of women's booties at a price others would find hard to quote. Volume Shoe Source. You could pay more, but why?
Dad, send the money by noon, or you won't be coming to my graduation in June.
Send the money today, or your father and I couldn't be washed away. Darling, I've run into a little trouble. Could you send $150 on the double?
To send someone money fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our 9,000 locations, usually in 15 minutes or less.
That's okay. I'll get the door.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
The grace of its flight, the thrill of its thunder, the vision, the drive, the spirit of Thunderbird.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
You appreciate horses, Mr. Wendt?
Yes, sir. Rode one when I was a kid. It's in front of the barber shop, 2 rides for a quarter.
What's that you're drinking?
Meisterbräu. You care for a pop, sir?
Thank you, no.
Now, what can I say? I'm a simple guy. I like boxer shorts, cold pizza, and Meisterbräu. Nothing's richer or smoother. Guys like me don't need anything else.
All this one wants to do is eat and hang around the mares.
We thoroughbreds are all alike.
Meisterbräu. Nothing's richer, nothing's smoother.
You and that toad, get out of here.
We got no beef with you.
Come on, I'll help you out.
Few folks recall that Joe Friday broke into the movies once in a 1954 crimer called What Else? Oh, the screen and the budget were bigger, all right, but everything else, including Friday's attitude, stayed the same as on TV.
Now, you listen to me, cop. I pay your salary.
All right, sit down. I'm going to earn it.
You already have the kind of money you make. What do they pay you to carry that badge around? 40 cents an hour?
You sit down. That badge pays $464 a month. That's what the job's worth. I knew that when I hired on. $67.40 comes out for withholding. I give $27.84 for pension and $12 for widows and orphans. That leaves me $356.76. That badge is worth $1.82 an hour. So, mister, you just settle back in that chair because I'm going to blow about $20 of it right now.
That was then. But this is now, 33 years later.
Police officer, you're under arrest.
I beg your pardon. What is this, some sort of a feeble joke?
My partner and I witnessed that little Torch Lake picnic you threw last night, and we're going to put you where your kind always ends up. In a 7-by-7-foot gray-green metal cage on the 15th floor of some 100-year-old penitentiary with damp, stinking walls and a wooden plank for a bed.
Dragnet's back in the movies again, pursuing new crooks, and this time for the fun of it.
Look out, Muppets! Action.
Down there, next to that Beverly Hills swimming pool, in the middle of all that sun-kissed Southern California scenery, that's where you'll find Dan Akroyd playing Sergeant Friday's nephew, carrying the badge by the book, just like his Uncle Joe did 20 years before.
Yes, sir. My name's Friday.
Tom Hanks is young Joe's partner, Pep Strebeck, hip, hot, and 100% different from all the other Dragnet partners of the past.
I'm your new partner.
Not looking like that you aren't, mister.
Oh, really? What's that supposed to mean?
It means I don't care what undercover ruck you crawled out from. There's a dress code for detectives in robbery homicide. It specifies clean shirt, short hair, tie, pressed trousers, sports jacket or suit, and leather shoes, preferably with a high shine on them.
Though it's a comedy, the new Dragnet is not a parody or a put-down of the old one. Just the opposite. It's a fond tribute to Jack Webb from a whole movie company full of fans and friends. Among them, Harry Morgan, back on the force as boss this time, and a collaborative script by Dan, comedy writer Alan Swibell, and director Tom Mankiewicz.
Dragnet was part of my youth. I must have been, let's say, 12 years old. It was the perfect kind of show for a 12-year-old, and I'm not casting aspersions on it. I mean, I was watching My Name's Friday. I carry a badge. I thought that was pretty tough stuff.
I guess we enjoyed already the immediate identification with Dragnet and just wanted to be a part of it. And everybody that we've come across just said, Dragnet, great. Sounds
It just twinges people right away. It's because everybody that I know and grew up with was just a tremendous fan of Jack Webb's and what he did on that show, the whole style, the way it was presented, the reality.
And that clipped style, that staccato style of speaking and editing. Jack used to line edit, which is everybody has the whole line on screen, and he would cut back and forth so that she would say, and another thing, yeah, Joe, what? The landlady, what about her? She's a man. Dun, 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 dun. And that style, I mean, I guess I watched so many Dragnets, and I understood it. We do a little of that in this movie.
Captain, Frank's late. Must have been held up in traffic.
Frank won't be coming in today, Joe.
24-hour virus?
Or tomorrow.
48?
For those of you who remember the Dragnet series, there's a very affectionate version of Dragnet in a couple of scenes that I think the people will recognize and their ear will recall. But basically, it is our own film with our own pace and our own style.
Please clear behind that police car. Positions ready. Picture. Rolling.
Hey, Mark.
Take her. Take him, boy. Take him. The action tank, come ahead, tank.
The film takes place in 1987. It's not a period piece. Sometimes when people hear about the film, they think, oh, this must be in the 50s. It's not. It takes place present day, and the characters get into some real modern problems.
In the new Dragnet, young Joe Friday and Pep Strebeck are up to their undercover ears in a criminal conspiracy. A cult group is out to take over L.A. with a lot of bombs, attempted murders, and mayhem along the way. Not exactly the kind of crime Jack Webb dealt with back on TV, but the underlying message is still very much the same.
I think that the overall theme of what Dragnet always has been is that as a cop you have a job to do, whether you really want to do that job or not.
Behind the scenes, Dan kept faithful to the Jack Webb style by listening to old Dragnet tapes on headphones, and the results were startling.
He really lived the part, walked around all day listening to Jack Webb radio shows in his ear, and finally got a little bit frightened when he confessed to me one day that he was starting to dream in character.
Everybody has their own way of working, and Dan's is very particular and very sure of the directions that he's going. I don't know. I feel, well, we'll get in there, we'll make it up. I don't know, we'll figure out something.
Danny has a wonderful trip hammer mind that collects cadences and rhythms, and he will go after it. And Joe Friday is a character that lends himself to Danny's personality. Tom's approach to acting is different than Danny's in a way that mirrors the difference between Friday and Strebeck. Tom is a terribly intelligent actor, but he's also very freewheeling as an actor. And I think because of all those things, the chemistry between the two of them is really extraordinary on screen.
You're going to lose your red hackles altogether. You eat those chili dogs.
I can handle it.
They're the worst thing for you. They're filled with nitrites and toxins and poisons, and you're doubling up on them.
Let me tell you something, mister. Unlike you outside of cigarettes, I only have one vice, and a good chili dog is it. So please pipe down and let me enjoy my lunch in peace.
Okay. You know the kinds of things that can fall into an industrial sausage press? Not excluding rodent hairs and lug excrement?
I hate you, Strebeck.
Joe, I understand you're a single man.
Yeah, that's right.
Save your breath, Dan. I've been working on him for years to start a family. He's a waste of time. Got his mind made up and cast in cement.
It's a great life, Joe. It really is.
I'll tell you something.
Maybe marriage is a great life, but the old Joe Friday never thought so. Well, that's all different in the new movie, though. Young Joe Friday very definitely gets the girl, even if she is too young to remember Dragnet on TV. Alexandra Paul plays clean-living Connie Swale.
Connie and Joe are meant for each other because they're not 80s people, even though the Dragnet is set in the 80s and Tom Hanks is like your 80s man. But Dan plays Sergeant Joe Friday. He is an anachronism, and so is Connie. They both should have been born in a more romantic era.
Joe,
That's me.
was there ever anyone else?
Of course there was.
Oh,
Actually, I've only been driving with Strebeck for a couple of days now. Before that, I was with Frank.
that's not what I meant, Joe.
If a girlfriend for Friday breaks old Dragnet tradition, then the sheer size of the rest of the movie absolutely shatters it. It's 3 in the morning, behind the scenes of a pagan ritual in the making. 5 cameras rolling, 110 crew people working, 2 stars dancing, and 300 extras dressed in goat leggings going wild. And how it all came together is a far cry from the days when Jack Webb was calling the shots from the director's chair.
We're going to hand over your voucher. Danny hands you the goat leggings. At the end of the night, we'll give you back your voucher.
We have to have your vouchers because these are so valuable. Everybody wants these. So these are all the same. Put them over your belt, whatever way seems more comfortable to you, just so they stay on.
The pagans came here early from all walks of life. Cab drivers, students, teachers, blue collars, white collars, no collars at all.
Well, I'm sure these people are union members and all that, but you know, one likes to have a little protection when one is surrounded by people in goat leggings. 300 of them. So I'll just be taking this with a full load and holding it here tonight with me.
Costumes, props, and pagans, pagans, pagans. There are 1,000 details the old Dragnet never had to deal with, but here they get handled and always with safety first.
Okay, that was perfection.
It was terribly well. We had, of course, David Sosna, my first assistant, who had that big mic, and he rehearsed those people, and with a little bit of discipline and a little bit of affection, you can get 300 extras to become part of the company and work just as hard as any actor or any crew member in it.
Here we go!
And amid all the preparation and rehearsal, a new dance is born, with Dan and Tom teaching the moves.
The image is to have Walter Payton crossing the goal line right after he gets a cheap hit from behind. Dig? Well, we'll show it to you. Watch, it makes sense.
The goat dance actually came from Danny. In the very first meeting I had, he showed me the goat dance. And I just fell on the floor. I remember the first time he did it for Tom Hanks, when Tom had just come on board. And Tom just fell down laughing. And then just before the shooting started, when they did the goat dance for like a party of 100 people, and everybody fell down. Maybe the goat dance will be a new craze.
Just ahead, a look back at the way Dragnet action used to be and how it's picked up some brand new punch for the 80s. All that on a big promotion for Bill Gannon, whether he likes it or not.
Shop G.I. Joe's Housewares and Home Electronics sale and stock up on Scott's videotape, only $3.99 each. Get Mr. Coffee's 10-cup coffee maker, $15.99 after factory rebate. Remove fuzz and lint with Remington's Fuzz Away, just $9.99. Sandio's AM/FM car stereo, now $49.99. It's the Housewares and Home Electronics sale, plus back-to-school savings, now at G.I. Joe's.
6 centuries ago, in Bavaria, a beer was born. Lowenbrau, German for the lion's brew. Now brewed in England, Japan, Sweden, Canada, and America. Still under license and authority of Lowenbrau Munich. Rich Bavarian flavor brewed fresh and smooth in America. It's the best way in the world to brew beer.
This world calls for Lowenbrau right now.
For years, certain people have been asking for one thing in a soup. More! So we invented Chunky, with pieces big enough to eat with a fork. More! And a rich broth so delicious, you'll need a spoon to get every drop. More varieties, like a sirloin burger. Or even New England clam chowder.
You can expect more from Chunky, the soup that eats like a meal.
The way cars are changing, you never know what's coming next. That's why you may want Chevron Supreme with Tekraline. Controls deposits while cleaning not just fuel injectors, complete intake systems. High-octane Chevron Supreme delivers high performance no matter what car you drive. Chevron Supreme.
You're a phony and you know it. Rotten liar! Stand still, go on, I'll show you. Talk a good game. That's about all. You're all talk. Get out with
All talk? Well, yes, Jack Webb's Dragnet did ramble on a bit, but even Sergeant Friday knew that. Sometimes when you're 11 stories up with a maniac, action speaks a lot louder than words. Occasionally, Friday and his partners would apply their size 10s to stamping out an arson or calling on a suspect. Or every now and then, a knife might flash and a fist would fly. Still, Dragnet spent most of its time on the phone or in the interrogation room or riding around in a plane-wrapped Ford. Jack Webb allowed his show only one shot every 4 episodes. And sometimes it seemed that getting his suit crushed at briefings was the biggest danger Friday faced on the job.
Okay, so maybe the old Dragnet was a little short on car chases, crashes, and gunfights. And maybe it was a little long on dialogue and meaningful issues. But life was quieter and calmer back then.
Of course, things are somewhat different nowadays in our version of Dragnet.
They used to do the old Dragnet series in 2 days. Now, Jack Webb gave up something for that because a lot of times there were people talking next to walls, and you didn't see much else. You never saw where they were. This movie was shot over a period of 12 weeks with a lot of very spectacular stuff in it. But there's a lot of big things in the movie that you just couldn't do in the context of the old Dragnets. Well, when you're in a movie theater, the screen is 40 feet wide. It's a lot different from watching the TV at home. And so there's a lot more to see.
quite place it. It tastes like milk. Just like the sign said in the building before you obliterated it. Fresh, wholesome milk. You probably love this stuff, don't you?
Bigger action for Dragnet, bigger pay and prestige for Officer Bill Gannon. In the movie, Joe Friday's old partner's been kicked upstairs right through that door there. And in 1987, Gannon is a full-blown captain with a full-time headache.
No, Joe, you go ahead. No, Sergeant, go ahead. No. It was like, we'll both do it. It was like kind of... All night. Stop it!
Harry Morgan jumped at the chance to put the badge back on for the new Dragnet. It was like old home week for Harry, and Tom Mankiewicz, too, in his debut as a second-generation movie director.
He appeared in my father's first film, a picture called Dragnet with Vincent Price and Gene Tierney in the 40s. First film my father directed. Harry was in it. And I said to Harry, gee, it's so wonderful you're in my first feature and you were in my father's first feature. And he said, don't worry about it, I was in everybody's first feature. So.
That's me. This is Jack. But this suit I wore for 5 years. Now, during the middle of the 5 years, it was getting a little threadbare, so we had it copied, but it was, again, the same suit. Same tie, same shirt, same shoes. So this trench coat I wore in the original Dragnet. And Jack wore a sort of a gray blazer with dark slacks, the same tie, and the same trench coat. Now take off your coat and tie, put your iron out there on the closet shelf, and relax. Tonight, we're going to play a little pinochle with Robert Bass and Dan Patrick, neighbors of mine. Tomorrow, we're going to sleep in, watch the ball game on the tube, have a dinner fit for kings. We're going to live like sultans for 2 days, without harems, of course.
And apparently Jack had a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah,
And,
yeah.
You know, Harry Morgan used to tell him, you know, give me a little kiss when he get mad and stuff like that, you know.
Behind that stern look of his, Jack Webb was a confirmed fun lover, a generous, loyal friend and father who loved kids, animals, convertibles, good conversation, hot Mexican food, jazz music, and the L.A. Dodgers. But if he were alive today, would he also enjoy the new Dragnet movie?
Oh, Jack had a great sense of humor. Yeah, he loved to laugh.
It's enough to churn your guts, isn't it, Strebeck? That a smut peddler like Jerry Caesar could build a modern-day Gomorrah, smack dab in the middle of the same city where they recorded We Are the World.
Next, the old breed of Dragnet bad guys, and a brand new pair of modern mugs on the most wanted list, Christopher Plummer and Dabney Coleman.
Most bottled beers have to take the heat of pasteurization. And this can change their real taste. But there's one kind of beer that's not heat pasteurized, draft beer. And now there's real draft beer in bottles, Miller Genuine Draft. It's not heat pasteurized, it's cold filtered, so it retains all of its rich, smooth, real taste. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
VO5 hairspray is great for my hair. It doesn't leave it dry. It truly improves my hair's looks, doesn't dull or damage. And the more I use it, the better my hair looks. Patented VO5, great for your hair.
Can Jane Stevens, armed only with Real Kill, compete with a professional exterminator? Real Kill sprays the same stuff most pros use. That's why it kills up to 99% of even hidden bugs. Just like a pro. Real Kill, the same stuff the pros use.
Your Northwest Ford dealers have a special announcement. Here's an update.
The big news is 1.9 or cash back. 1.9% or up to $1,000 cash back on the Ford Ranger. Just $57.93 when you apply the cash back. 1.9 or $1,000 cash back on the Ford Bronco 2. Or get $500 cash back on America's best-selling truck, the Ford F-Series. #1 deals on #1 trucks.
That's one more reason why Ford is #1 in the Northwest.
You wouldn't think of doing this to your house, yet every day you do it to your deck. You need more than an ordinary house stain. You need Cuprinol Deck Stain and Preservative, engineered to take the kind of punishment your deck gets every day. Get the Deck Protector from Cuprinol.
Might as well save your breath cup. You got enough to save, choke on it.
Take your hat off.
Oh, my, you're a mean man.
You keep it closed until somebody tells you to open it, remember.
Jack Webb saw nothing glamorous about criminals, and his special breed of sleazers reflected it. They were the biggest bunch of low-down, destructive, born losers ever assembled on TV. Angry two-bit cowards and thieves and killers who smashed the rules of society and everything else they laid their dishonest hands on.
Don't you think you better sit down before you hurt yourself?
All right.
Small-time crooks, some big-time stars like Lee Marvin played them on Dragnet. Before they were big-time stars, that is.
Well, I killed her, that's all you gotta know. I'm glad I killed her. She had it coming.
I'm an actor.
That's Robert Vaughn, the man from U.N.C.L.E. There's a no-talent ham who steals between parts.
What's all this? Just the props.
Oh, yeah? What for?
To help you get the feel of the role.
And don't let those normal ears and mustache fool you. That's Leonard Nimoy, Spock himself, beamed down into a murder charge.
Let's start with a knife.
Sure. Just because the guy's an ex-con, pin another bum rap on him.
During Dragnet's 11-year, 374-episode first run, more than 1,500 actors worked for Jack Webb. Almost half of them played criminals one time or another. But as incorrigible as they were on screen, they quickly learned discipline from Webb behind the scenes.
He scared most people half to death. Actors and actresses on his set were pretty much petrified Mr. Webb, because he was a no-nonsense director. And he would rant and rave and scream and holler on the set, and I've seen him in tears. Whoever told you were an actress? He used to swear a lot.
It's doubtful Jack Webb would have had to swear at the talented likes of Christopher Plummer or Dabney Coleman, high-profile actors playing low-down heavies, a new breed of bad guys in the new Dragnet movie. No small-timers here. The evildoers are deliberately larger than life to match the big screen expectations of 1987 audiences.
Well, now, if you'll both excuse me, I'm afraid the second highest duty calls.
Plummer plays the Reverend Jonathan Whirley, a secretly not-so-pious TV preacher with some ungodly plans for the people of Los Angeles, a part that calls for doing comedy with a perfectly straight face.
That kind of comedy, of course, is the hardest to play because you have to be so sincere that you're just overly sincere, so that the audience knows that it's a comedic performance.
How much do you figure a monthly run of your magazine is worth?
Well, let's just say it's more money than you'll ever see in your life. And I do that every month.
Dabney Coleman, like Plummer, finds humor on the wrong side of the law. As a poolside lounge lizard named Jerry Caesar, publisher of Bait magazine for men.
Dabney is someone who carries with him a sense of black humor. He's a marvelous actor, terribly meticulous.
That's all your little announcement about my so-called $1 million contribution. Do yourself a favor, friend. Try the lottery.
Chris is also a very precise actor. And when he and Dabney conspire together in the cemetery scene, when they play that with each other, it was, for me, such a delight because they were moving like clockwork, but of course, as with every good actor, it appears absolutely seamless.
Our problem is Mayor Parvin. I'm afraid he is not going gentle into that good night.
Say what?
They had a wonderful time in that scene. Just a wonderful time. And you would watch them sort of reel each other out and reel each other in, and it was watching two wonderful tennis players on the same court at the same time.
Why don't I just hold on to it until the formal presentation?
Well, whatever.
Recognize that tune?
Oh, sure. It's the old Dragnet thing. They used to call it the most familiar four notes in the face of the Earth, maybe even the whole solar system.
It probably still is, and it hasn't changed a bit over all these years. Although in today's Dragnet, I have to admit, there is some new music, too.
Oh, yeah. Something to make routine police work move along at a little more contemporary beat.
Criminals faced some long, hard raps when Dragnet was on TV, but never one like this. What you have here is Law and Order set to the pulse rate of the 80s. Akroyd and Hanks in an L.A. recording studio recording soundtrack for a new generation of Dragnet movie music.
You're a dangerous mob, and it is our job to bust you all for being violent.
Hard to believe it all began 40 years ago inside the head of the late Walter Schumann, a West Coast composer who figured 4 short notes were more than enough to get people's attention. He didn't know how right he was. Band leader Ray Anthony made the original Dragnet theme into a million-plus hit on the charts in 1953. The best-selling, most identifiable music signature of any show ever. So big, even Jack Webb's doorbell played it. But a Dragnet rap? Well, who knows? That might have rung Webb's chimes as well if there had been such a thing as rapping back in 51.
That's not so funny that it costs big money if you ever have to hire a lawyer.
It's my duty to inform you and my pleasure to warn you.
We'll provide one for you. Huh.
Hey, that's nice music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the Facts was brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered draft beer. It's as real as it gets.
It's real. I know it's real.
There
was a time when there was only one kind of beer. Rich, smooth draft beer. It wasn't pasteurized or tampered with. It was just real beer. Miller Genuine Draft is as real as that. It's not heat pasteurized like most other beers. It's cold filtered, so it's as rich and smooth as only real draft beer can be. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
The Henderson family has an unusual house guest.
George, what is it?
Hands out, saliva dripping off his pointed teeth.
Oh, it's so cute.
What is that smell? Gerbil.
Only bigger.
Do you have a cat?
No. This is it. The whole world's gonna know.
Harry and the Hendersons.
It's Bigfoot.
Rated PG, now playing at theaters everywhere.
Now, where else can you have dinner and be a winner all at the same time?
It's fun on the run. It's open after dark at Multnomah Kennel Club. It's fun on the run. Fun on the run. Multnomah Kennel Club. I got a man with a slow hand. He's got a face that I love to touch.
New Chic Plus has a comfort strip to give you a smoother shave for the easy touch.
When you're allergy sensitive, your next attack may be only a breath away. For relief, depend on Benadryl. Doctors have prescribed it more than any allergy medication ever. Benadryl from Park Davis.
Officier de police, voici Bill Gaddon, mon nom est Friday.
Joe Friday speaking French? Or how about Spanish? Not so surprising when you realize that the old Dragnet still plays on TV around the world. And here at home, too. The show reruns in literally every American market, big and small. Joe Friday just goes on and on and on, even though he qualified for retirement a long time ago. Like the sergeant always said,
There are over 5,000 men in this city who know that being a policeman is an endless, glamourless, thankless job that's got to be done. I know it, too. And I'm damn glad to be one of them.
In 1982, Jack Webb died of a sudden heart attack. And when he did, the Los Angeles Police Department held a special memorial for him, the first such honor ever given to a civilian. And now, 5 years later, Hollywood movie makers are honoring Webb in their way, too. Dragnet lives on with a good-natured wink just to let old Jack know that everybody's still thinking about him and the show he created.
My hat was in that car.
Well, that's it. All the evidence is in. Dragnet then, and Dragnet now.
Something good to look back on, something great to look forward to.
If he does say so himself.
Well, no, come on. I'm not bragging about our own movie. It's not that at all, no.
Well, then what is it then?
What is it? Well, it's simple, Dan. Just the facts.
I'm Gary Hill. Coming out, the Oregon pear harvest promises to be a bumper crop this year. 82nd Avenue is being recycled, and the Secret Service busts a counterfeit money ring in Portland. Details are next on the 10 o'clock news.
Distributed by the SFM Media Corporation.
Weeknights at 12:30 on KPTV 12.